Unlocking attention and the hidden power of precision weighting in your brain. Imagine standing in a bustling city square, sunlight flickering through the leaves, snippets of laughter mixing in with the distant wail of traffic. It's all so immediate, vivid, and unmistakably real. Yet what few people ever suspect is that their sense of reality is assembled moment by moment, not by passive recording, but by a silent and ceaseless dance happening inside their head. Beneath conscious awareness, the brain acts more like a brilliant guesser than a perfect camera. This guessing game is not random or vague. It's a precise negotiation between expectation and evidence, a process we call predictive processing, with a crucial hidden ingredient that we're going to talk about today, and that's precision weighting. I've made 2 other videos recently that involve predictive processing. We're going to dig deep today into precision weighting. So every second, billions of neural messages are crisscrossing the brain, not only registering sensory cues from the world, but also streaming down predictions about what those cues should be. Your experience of seeing someone's face in the crowd or noticing the aroma wafting from a food stall isn't simply detected in the raw. Instead, it's shaped and fine-tuned by what your brain believes is likely to be there, sculpted by your knowledge, by context, and even by your current mood. When actual sensory input lines up neatly with what the brain forecasts, awareness stays effortless and familiar. But when surprise arises, when something is out of place, the brain flags the mismatch as a prediction error, drawing attention for possible update and action. Hey everyone, I'm Henry and you're watching my channel Henry's Millions, where I dive deep into psychology, spirituality, and neuroscience, helping you explore and master the forces that shape your life. Really quickly, to clarify the foundation of my understanding today, I want to acknowledge that my perspective on prediction processing and precision weighting is deeply shaped by the work of 2 seminal figures, Carl Friston and Andy Clark. Carl Friston, one of our time's most influential neuroscientists, is renowned for pioneering the core mathematical and neuroscientific concepts behind the brain's predictive machinery, including the vital mechanism of precision weighting. And Andy Clark, through his influential book, Surfing Uncertainty, has beautifully articulated and expanded upon these ideas, bridging complex neuroscience with practical insights about attention, learning, and the embodied mind. So it's with great respect for their insights that I share the perspectives presented in this talk. All right, let's move on. So what determines which surprises command notice and which go unheeded? This is where the hidden power of precision weighting like weights, enters. Not waiting like you're in a waiting room. So just want to clarify that. So precision weighting refers to the brain's delicate estimation of how reliable or noisy any signal, whether it's external or internal, truly is. It's a bit like the sophisticated alarms in modern buildings, detecting when to filter out distractions as background noise and when instead to amplify signals that really matter. So when a prediction error is marked as highly precise, the brain pays close attention, setting in motion learning, adaptation, or even rapid physical movement. When error signals are marked as imprecise, they are dimmed or ignored, conserving resources for what's likely most meaningful. So this process is not confined to laboratory measurements or philosophical speculation. It permeates everyday life. It shapes why a parent can hear their child's voice above a noisy crowd, why an athlete can focus laser sharp amid distraction, and why moments of anxiety or joy can seem to flood awareness, reshaping the very feel of the world. It even helps to explain why in states of fatigue, stress, or emotional upheaval, attention flickers or misfires, sometimes missing the forest for the trees. The modern science of predictive processing, with its core insight into precision weighting, is rapidly transforming our grasp of mind, consciousness, and action. It reveals a brain not just receiving the world's information, but actively sculpting experience, opportunity, and even personal identity. Understanding this powerful system provides more than a new lens on neuroscience. It offers everyone from students to professionals, parents to artists, an evidence-based toolkit for living more attentively, adaptively, and creatively amid the swirling uncertainty of modern existence. So in today's talk, we're going to explore how precision weighting sits at the heart of attention, learning, relationship, emotion, cultural dialogue. We'll see not just the science, but how it gives rise to practical wisdom, the keys to unlocking attention's hidden power in your own life. All right, so on to the predictive brain. So this is a new foundation for our understanding in neuroscience. So at the core in contemporary neuroscience lies a striking departure from how most people imagine their minds worked. For centuries, the dominant picture was one of sensation followed by interpretation. The brain was a passive receiver, processing the world's information in a neat, one-way cascade from the senses inward. This traditional model describes perception as a bottom-up assembly line. You got your eyes, your ears, and your skin to collect data, which then travel through the neural pathways to be translated into useful representations and experiences. In this telling, the brain works much like a camera, snapping pictures of reality, or perhaps a computer that computes what the senses deliver. But recent research shows this model is at best only half of the story. Now there's a new conceptual framework that's shaking up our understanding. That's predictive processing. So in this dynamic picture, the brain is fundamentally a proactive prediction engine. From the moment we wake and throughout sleep and dreaming, our brains are tirelessly engaged in the act of guessing what will happen next. These predictions are not vague hunches. They are detailed models crafted from a lifetime of learning, refined over countless iterations as we act, perceive, and reflect. So rather than merely waiting for sensory input to arrive, the brain constantly broadcasts its own expectations about what the senses will detect, preparing not only for what is likely, but also for what is vital to controlling behavior. This perpetual forecasting is not carried out in a single monolithic sweep. Instead, the brain is organized as a deep hierarchy, a multi-layered network in which higher-level areas form broad, abstract predictions, and lower-level regions deal with fine-grained, immediate results. The higher-level structures send down patterns, which are expectations about what is likely to happen or what sensations are probable. In effect, top-down information flow. Now, as actual sensory data comes in, it's compared to these predictions at each level, and any discrepancy gets flagged as a prediction error, an important hint that something unexpected, perhaps meaningful, has occurred. The relentless minimization of these errors constitutes the brain's central organizing principle. Our neural machinery is tuned to reduce the size and frequency of prediction errors, constantly updating our internal models to better match the incoming flow of sensory data. So what this means in practice is that the brain is always aiming to make better, more efficient bets about the environment, adjusting its own beliefs as new evidence accumulates. So this is a process that combines both learning, changing predictions over time and in light of evidence, and adaptations, changing actions to better align with prediction. The result is a mind that is not only capable of perceiving the world, but of skillfully navigating, anticipating, and shaping unfolding events. In everyday life, this becomes strikingly clear when we encounter ambiguous or noisy situations. Think of listening to a conversation in a crowded cafe, or walking down a foggy street. The raw sensory information can be unclear or missing critical details. Yet people rarely find themselves paralyzed by the gaps. Instead, brains fill in the missing information, drawing upon experience, context, and deeply embedded expectations. Sometimes this leads to startling effects. A person may confidently hear their own name amid a jumble of voices, or spot a familiar object even when it's half hidden in the shadow. The brain's reliance on predictive processing is what endows us with stability, speed, and resilience. Without it, our experience would be riddled with uncertainty and decision. So real-world success hinges on how well our predictions align with reality. When expectations are met, perception and action unfold smoothly. But when the world throws us a curveball, prediction errors spike, catching our attention and priming us to learn or adapt. So over time, these errors help us fine-tune our models, become more adept at seeing subtle patterns, and grow in confidence and skill. So seeing through this lens, learning itself is nothing more and nothing less than the refinement of prediction machinery. Each lesson is a calibration, every experience an opportunity to tune expectations for greater accuracy or flexibility. So the shift from a passive receiver to an active predictor is more than a scientific revolution. It promises new insights for how we approach attention, creativity, and resilience, both in the face of everyday challenges and extraordinary situations. So next, let's delve into the subject in the subtle yet profound ways that brain determines which prediction errors are truly important, and how the artful weighing of these signals unlocks the hidden power of attention in every moment. All right, so the hidden tuning of attention. We're going to talk about precision weighting. So if the brain is a prediction engine, what makes some signals demand our focus while others fade into the background? The secret is not simply in the strength or volume of sensory input, but in how the brain estimates and assigns precision to the torrent of incoming self-generated signals. Precision in this context is the brain's way of estimating how trustworthy or reliable a given stream of information is likely to be. This estimation is crucial because not all information is created equal. Some signals, like a sudden screech of tires or the gentle tug of a loved one's hand, must be attended to immediately, while others, like the familiar hum of the office fan or the faint ticking of a clock, can be safely ignored. So precision weighting acts as the brain's internal volume knob, modulating the impact of prediction errors at every level of processing. When the brain judges an error signal as highly precise, it amplifies that signal, giving it more influence in revising predictions and driving behavior. If a prediction error is marked as imprecise, it is dampened, often disregarded entirely, saving precious resources for signals that matter more. This process underpins what we experience as attention, the flexible, context-sensitive ability to focus on what's important and ignore the irrelevant. So neuroscientific evidence for precision weighting comes from studies examining how the brain filters sensory data and prioritizes action. Take, for example, classic experiments on the cocktail party effect. So in a crowded room, people effortlessly tune out most of the conversations, but they can instantly notice their own name, even spoken across the room. So here's the brain's expectations, built from years of hearing and using that name, combined with the situational context to assign a high degree of precision to that very specific auditory pattern. So when it appears, even faintly, the error signal is boosted and attention is captured. So similarly, in experiments on visual search, participants often fail to notice dramatic changes in a scene if their expectations are not primed for them. So this is known as change blindness. The brain, guided by prior knowledge and context, selectively boosts prediction errors deemed precise and diminishes those that don't fit active goals. So if your attention is set on finding your keys, you'll be more likely to spot shiny metallic objects or overlook a stack of letters nearby, even if they move or change. That's a direct reflection of precision weighting at work. So beyond these controlled studies, precision weighting shapes daily activities in endlessly practical ways. Athletes perform at their best when their precision weighting system is tuned to key signals, like the release of a ball or the shifting posture of an opponent, allowing them to react in milliseconds. Musicians, they often lose themselves in a performance because their attention's narrow to the most task-relevant cues, a particular tempo, harmony, or gesture. In moments of flow, the brain's ability to finely modulate precision brings sharp clarity and effortless control. So this process is continually adaptive. Factors such as fatigue, stress, prior experience, and even bodily state alter how precision is assigned. Someone under stress may find their precision system becomes jittery and over-responsive, amplifying trivial noises or ambiguous cues in distracting nuisances. Conversely, mental training, habits, or focused intention can help recalibrate these assignments, teaching the brain to highlight the signals that support well-being, productivity, or creativity. So crucially, not all precision assignments happen consciously. Much of this profound filtering occurs beneath awareness, with the brain silently deciding what to let into consciousness and what to filter out. That means many so-called failures of attention, missing someone waving at you, overlooking a typo, or blanking out during a routine commute, they're not lapses of willpower, but ordinary consequences of how precision weighting works, shaped by what your brain continually predicts to be most relevant. So precision weighting therefore emerges as a hidden tuning mechanism within attention, orchestrating which prediction errors rise to awareness and which melt away, all in the service of action and adaptation. So to understand attention is to understand how and why the brain sets in its internal dials of precision, responding to context, history, goals, and even culture. All right, next, I'm going to talk about the deep relationship between perception and action, revealing how precision weighting not only sculpts experience, but also powers the dance of control and readiness that lies at the heart of effective living. So the boundary between perceiving and acting isn't as clear-cut as it might seem from everyday introspection. Predictive processing science reveals that perception and action form two sides of a continuous cycle. It's a dance in which each move shapes the other. The brain is never just a spectator, passively registering the outside world. Instead, it is locked in a reciprocal relationship with the environment, using prediction to both interpret sensations and guide movements, all with the overarching goal of minimizing uncertainty and maximizing adaptive response. So at the core of this relationship is the principle of active inference. So unlike a model that simply waits for sensory data to roll in, the predictive brain initiates action to sample the world, seeking out information that will resolve ambiguity, confirm its expectations, or quickly deal with surprises. So imagine reaching out for a cup in the dark. Your hand doesn't just fumble aimlessly. Instead, subtle hints, muscle memory, the faint outline, the cool whisper of air, they inform your predictions, while minute adjustments in movement serve to test and refine those predictions in real time. So this constant interplay means that every perception is already primed for possible action, and every action in turn produces new streams of sensory feedback for the brain to interpret. A central phenomenon in this interplay is called affordance competition. The brain at any fleeting instant considers multiple action possibilities. Should you swerve left or right, speak or stay silent, stand or sit? Each of these possibilities is represented as a cluster of predictions and potential sensory consequences, all simmering together within the neural hierarchy. Now, precision weighting enters the scene as a decisive judge. It determines which hypothesis or potential action earns the right to take over behavior. So think of a basketball player weighing whether to pass, shoot, or dribble in the midst of a chaotic play. Their brain is evaluating the shifting probabilities and uncertainties of each move, continuously updating which option received the highest precision and therefore wins out as the next action. This ability to manage multiple reasonable bets and to rapidly resolve competition between them is what enables swift, flexible adaptation to new circumstances. When a situation is clear and familiar, precision can be confidently assigned, allowing quick, almost automatic response. When things are ambiguous, say deciding how to respond to a cryptic email or negotiating an unfamiliar social situation, precision is distributed more cautiously. In these uncertain conditions, the brain's machinery ensures that attention and motivation are allocated to exploring alternatives, collecting more information, and waiting until greater clarity emerges. So decision-making then is a slow, staged affair where evidence is weighed and a plan devised in isolation before action. So instead, it's a fluid, ongoing interaction in which perception and action are co-determined, each feeding the other in a tight loop. So the result is not only faster reactions, but more robust adaptive learning. Mistakes and surprises become opportunities to refine one's internal models, while successes reinforce existing patterns, enhancing future readiness. So these insights have profound practical implications. Mastery in any skill involves teaching the brain to assign precision to the most diagnostic signals. Whether those are the subtle cues of an opponent in chess, the movements of traffic while driving, or the emotional currents in a conversation. When people complain of being indecisive or paralyzed by options, it is often a sign that their precision weighting system isn't sufficiently calibrating which possibilities to prioritize. Training, feedback, and deliberate practice refine this system, and they promote sharper focus, quicker learning, and more confident action. So the harmony between perception and action doesn't just make expert performance possible. It provides everyone for a toolkit for meeting life's challenges creatively and with agility. By understanding the foundational role of prediction and the artful adjustment of precision weighting, you can gain a scientifically informed path to unlocking your own capacity for focused attention, adaptive change, and meaningful engagement with the world. All right, moving on, let's consider the embodied and emotional dimensions of prediction. How our bodies and feelings serve as powerful levers for recalibrating precision and transforming our experience. So the modern science of prediction reveals that cognition is inseparably intertwined with the body. Embodiment in this context means far more than possessing a brain linked to muscles and senses. Human minds emerged from a dynamic interplay of neural predictions, bodily states, and shaped environments, a relationship that runs deeper than most realize. The brain's prediction machinery is not sealed off from the heartbeat, the breath, the hormonal surges, or even the remembered weight of a familiar object in the hand. Instead, bodily states and actions enter directly into the calculus of what the mind finds salient or ignorable, meaningful or inert. So consider how the brain manages bodily information. Signals from internal organs, what scientists call interoception, provide a constant update on hunger, thirst, pain, temperature, and the subtle hum of metabolic rhythms. This inner flow doesn't just serve for survival, it shapes our very sense of self and mood. And variations in interoceptive signals recalibrate the brain's assignment of precision, changing what feels urgent, soothing, or dull. For example, anxiety often presents not as a cascade of thoughts, but as a rolling tension in the gut, a racing heart, or a shallow breath. These bodily experiences nudge the prediction system to amplify certain uncertainties, intensifying action to possible threats and altering emotional tone. So conversely, moments of calm or flow are characterized by fluent cycles of movement and sensation, whether predictions meet outcomes smoothly and bodily feedback aligns with expectation. Precision weighting here ensures that benign sensations and familiar actions are treated as reliable, dialing down prediction errors and supporting confidence, clarity, and emotional balance. But this system's sensitivity is also its vulnerability. Disorders of mood, attention, and perception often trace back to disruptions in the brain's estimation of precision, problems in how the mind weighs bodily signals against conceptual predictions. For instance, in both anxiety and panic disorders, minor bodily fluctuations are imbued with excessive precision. The brain mistakes harmless changes, like a skipped heartbeat or a lightheaded moment, as alarm signals, looping attention back on the body and escalating distress. Likewise, in depression, the precision assignment may become blunted, contributing to a flat effect and dampened motivation. So these insights open practical avenues for enhancing well-being. Practices that anchor attention on the body, such as controlled breathing, mindful movement, or interoceptive meditation, they help recalibrate your precision settings. By learning to detect and modulate your bodily cues, you can shift neural weighting away from intrusive or unhelpful signals, restoring your freedom to direct attention with greater flexibility and skill. So physical actions themselves become levers for psychological change. Pacing alters mood, posture invites confidence, and expressive gestures feed back into emotional tone. So this embodied approach gains further support from modern therapy and neuroscience. Individuals prone to anxiety or dysregulation are often taught to look outward, to orient away from excessive body monitoring and instead ground themselves in context, action, and social connection. The predictive brain is remarkably plastic. It's gradually learning to update its calibration of precision in response to consistent experience and practice. So importantly, there's no universal sweet spot for precision assignment. So what counts as optimal varies by circumstance, by culture, context, and history. This precision tuning that brings clarity during athletic performance differs from what underpins creative idea generation or social harmony. Successful individuals become adept at adapting their internal dials, the shifting modes as challenges and environments change. So even at the far reaches of pathology, predictive processing suggests hope. Research into autism, schizophrenia, and functional neurological disorders increasingly point to aberrant patterns of precision estimation, either too much or too little uncertainty assigned at key levels of the processing hierarchy. So this view helps explain the sensory overload, social difficulties, and reality distortions that can accompany these diagnoses, while also highlighting why interventions that reshape perception, bodily engagement, or attention can be so powerful. So the bottom line is both deeply human and scientifically robust. Feelings are not mere byproducts of thought, but integral elements of the brain's sophisticated prediction system. By understanding the embodied nature of precision, anyone can begin to deliberately harness the body's signals, leveraging movement, breath, and sensation to reshape patterns of attention and emotion. So through these means, the hidden power of prediction and precision becomes available, not as a cerebral abstraction, but as a lived source of resilience, creativity, and well-being. So the intricate science of predictive processing and precision weighting, when brought into clear view, transforms our conception of what it means to perceive, to act, and to be aware. So what has emerged is a portrait of the mind as an anticipatory system, not passively representing, but proactively sculpting reality in an ongoing negotiation between expectation and evidence, habit and novelty, body and world. And precision weighting is the subtle, powerful force through which brains decide what deserves attention and what recedes into the background noise. This mechanism, finely attuned by learning, by bodily states and social encounters, orchestrates every move from catching a ball to reading a friend's mood, from overcoming anxiety to finding inspiration in moments of flow. So it demonstrates that each instant of clarity, confidence, or creative leap is underwritten by the brain's success at tuning the volume on the signals that matter most. So understanding the science enables deeply practical change, far beyond abstract theory. The moment you realize your attention is always being subtly weighed by your context, emotions, your conversations, you gain the power to shape it deliberately. You can practice both mentally and physically to recalibrate your own precision dials. You can seek out experiences, environments, and communities that help you learn new ways to direct your focus, to respond to uncertainty, and adapt to the changing world. And hopefully you'll approach challenges not as static problems to be solved, but as living opportunities to refine your predictions and grow. So as you move forward, let your awareness of prediction and precision guide you. Notice what draws your attention, question why certain signals feel compelling, and practice shifting your focus, your habits, and your conversations to better navigate the beautiful and unpredictable that is always just ahead. So in doing so, you'll find the true power of attention, hidden in plain sight, crafted by moment by the precision tuning machine within your mind. All right, so YouTube thinks you should watch this next video from my channel as best for viewer recommendation. Don't look at me. And remember to like and subscribe to my channel, Henry's Millions.